Hello, I'm Vikas Malandar. This video is showing how to calculate financial variables from the financial data before analysis. To calculate the financial variable, at first we must collect the financial data from the financial statements such as balance sheet, profit and loss account, and cash flow. Here, the table presents the data of Nabil Bank for fiscal year 2014-15 to 2024-25. The data are regarding total assets, deposit, net profit, total loan, and total debt. The data are hypothetical. There are so many financial variables for the analysis. Among them, we have taken only debt ratio, assets growth, bank size, deposit collection ratio, credit deposit ratio, and return on assets. Debt ratio can be calculated as total liabilities divided by total assets. And we can compute here by typing equals the data of total debt divided by the data of total assets multiplied by 100 percentage. Then after, we can calculate assets growth by typing equals bracket current year's total assets minus previous year's total assets close by bracket divided by previous year's total assets multiplied by 100 percentage. Then we get the output of assets growth. At the same time, there are various measures of indicating bank size. Among the most widely used metrics for the calculating bank size is natural logarithm of bank size, which can be calculated as equals ln. Then it means returns the natural logarithm of a number. Then clicking the ln and selecting the total assets. Then we get the bank size in terms of natural logarithm. Deposit collection ratio. Deposit collection ratio can be calculated as typing equals a total deposit divided by our total assets multiplied by 100 percentage. And credit deposit ratio. The formula for the credit deposit ratio is total loan and advance divided by total deposit. And here in Excel, we can have credit deposit ratio by typing equals our total loan divided by total deposit, then multiplied by 100 percentage. Then we get the figure of credit deposit ratio. Similarly, the return on assets. Return on assets is the measure of profitability, which measures to what extent the company is capable to earn profit by mobilizing total assets. And it can be calculated by typing equals our net profit divided by total assets multiplied by 100 percentage. Then we get ROA in terms of percentage basis. So we reduce the digit behind the decimal up to the 2 digit. Thereafter, by selecting the cell where we put the formula, then drag the cursor up to the fiscal year 2024-25. Then we get the output for the debt ratio, assets growth, bank size, deposit collection ratio, credit deposit ratio, and return on assets for the whole historic period. Here, the Nabil Bank Limited. Here, the data for the Nabil Bank Limited have been computed. At the same time, after calculating the financial variables, we also use statistical tools such as mean, standard deviation, coefficient of variance, minimum, maximum. Because these statistical tools enhance the analysis in better way. So we can calculate it mean by typing equals AVE average. We select the average, then select the data of total assets over the 10 years figure. Then enter. Then we get the average value of total assets. After that, to calculate standard deviations, type equals STD. Then we got a various name of standard deviation. So the most used standard deviation is this second last standard deviation. And then clicking this second last standard deviation and then select the data over the years. Then we get standard deviation. To calculate the CB, that means coefficient of variance, type equals, and for the coefficient of variance is the standard deviation divided by mean multiplied by 100 percentage. So select standard deviation divided by mean multiplied by 100. The second last minimum, the minimum value by typing equals MIN mean, then select the mean and select the data over the years of total assets. Then we get the minimum value of total assets over the years. In this way, we can also have the maximum value of the data by typing equals max. Then select the max and also select the figure of total assets over the years. Then we get maximum value of total assets. So after selecting the cell of statistical tools where we initiated the formula, then drag the cursor up to the return on assets, we can have statistical data for all the variables over the years. By following same process, we can also have the data for financial variables and descriptive statistics for the remaining banks, Average Bank Limited and Standard Chartered Bank Limited as well. It will be more better to analyze the descriptive statistics of the 3 sample banks into one form. We have to construct a parent data. That means we have to compile and manage the data into a single table. Only descriptive statistics, we go on functional bar and select data. And then after data analysis, Then we select descriptive statistics and OK. Of input range is to insert all the data, whereas the output range is to show the output results. So we insert the data of debt ratio to return on assets over the 30 observations and click on the columns. Then after we select labels in the first row and select output range on Q10. Then OK. So we get the result of descriptive statistics into summarized table. This table presents the mean, standard deviation, median, mode, standard error, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count of all the financial variables. In this way, we can calculate very easily the output for the financial variables from the figure of financial data presented in financial statements.